Normally, when I make these Anarchy analyses, they're usually very, very professional. I tend to keep it straight-faced and keep it straight to the point. Yesterday I chucked in quite a few puns into the G2 Fnatic one, and today it's no different. We're going to be jumping into TSM versus Cloud9, the demolition of Cloud9's undefeated streak by the hands of the 6-6 TSM. DJ, cue up that draft music. Alright buckaroos, let's jump into Champion Select. Starting with the bans here, TSM immediately ban out the Tom Kench. A very, very good, safe champion pick in that bot side. Obviously has that Devour to save the ADC, and considering how little Sven's died this season, it's kind of good TSM remove that. Next up we see on C9's side a Senna ban and a Norm ban and a Philios. And on TSM side the Senna and Pan. Obviously some big boy bans there. Obviously quite a bit of bot lane focus out by TSM. Senna can be flex support as well as be a very, very prevalent ADC. And Pantheon is again another playmaking support. Obviously does have a shieldy effect and can do a lot of work. As for C9's band, Syndra is one of Bjergsen's big boy mid lane picks. Ornn is a pick that's been flex top support and also mid by TSM. And Aphelios is just the S-class bot laner, so a nice ban there to see. As for our first round of picks, we see TSM lock in the set. Probably the best top lane pick in the current meta. Has a high amount of bullying and just sustain that can make him so hard to deal with in lane. It makes it really hard for C9 to kind of counter that matchup. As such, we see them pick their bot lane duo. MF is picked up first. Obviously, bullet time very effective. Obviously, with Tom Kench removed, it's going to be quite hard to play quite safe on TSM side unless they're going to pick up Braum for support. That being said, they could even flex the set support. However, they don't. Lee Sin's the other pickup here for Cloud9. A very good early game engaged jungler that has a lot of gank potential with that kick ultimate and can obviously set up so many plays for the team into the latter part of the game. As for TSM's two picks here to end out their first pick phase, they choose probably the safest bot lane in the game, Xayah Rakan. A very, very nice pickup there. Two very, very good champions. Obviously, Rakan combines well with the set. Obviously, Facebreaker and the Rakan W combine well in the sense that you knock him up with the Rakan W, and then set balls him in and unleashes hell with his fists. And the last pick of this phase is the Leona for Cloud9 here, securing their bot lane as well. Obviously a good counter into the Rakan. You just put your E on top of the Rakan and he's unable to charm up everyone in the fight. You can Q him to stun him up. And essentially he is kind of been disabled, if played correctly, by Vulcan in that bot side of the map. And we end out our ban phase here with GP and Aatrox hitting the bans by TSM and Gragas and Sejuani hitting the bans from C9. Obviously two junglers banned out here by C9 as it kind of does force the play from TSM to not put set jungle. He can be technically flexed there. It also gives them less options in terms of the premier AP jungler as well as the premier tank jungler in the current meta. As for TSM's bans, they aim towards the top side, moving safe picks into that Sejuani, kind of maybe force a support top laner, which is prevalent in the LEC in recent weeks. Obviously that changes when we hit 10.5, but it's obviously a very interesting part to be in because it does mean that the second best or third best top laners are kind of out of the equation for C9 here, and they're kind of put into a sticky situation. And like normal, the last four picks of the draft is always the most exciting part. We start with a Zoe pickup here for C9, obviously a very standard pickup here. a high AP burst mid laner, has a lot of harassment and poke, very good overall, and kind of is sometimes hard to deal with. And unless you pick something into it that kind of counters it, you're going to be struggling. As for TSM's next two picks to end out their draft, they pick up here the Jarvan, obviously combines well with the Rakan, and the set with the Facebreaker and the Rakan W, so you're kind of locking up targets and making it very hard for the opposition to deal with you. And their last pick is the Zoe counter. It's probably the most, or probably the biggest Zoe counter, bar say Syndra, in the zillion. Essentially, you put bombs on where Zoe teleports forward and one where she comes from, and you're essentially getting an instant double bomb stun and a lot of damage onto a Zoe who's trying to harass. It's fairly easy to counter her, and you obviously do have a lot of damage. You have a very good ultimate in the Resurrect that can just bring you back to full health, as well as bring up your engage and tank frontline back to a healthy situation. That it kind of makes this fight a 6v5. As for Cloud9's response, they go for their own sort of protection in the Shen for the top side of the map. Obviously, Shen is not that good into set, I would say. He gets bullied out quite easily until Shen probably hits level 3, where he can proc his W and his E and have a big massive armor and dodge chance. Obviously, that means that you're going to be still losing out on CS when them abilities are down, as set just outpowers you. And the only real reason you'd pick Shen at this current point in the game, or for this comp, is so that you have a bit more strength and armor on your team and can actually deal with the TSM pretty much team fighting comp. Now, this was a very brutal and scrappy game, and it wasn't that because of the teams involved. It was more so because of a team making it that. TSM from minute 1 in this game decided to set the tempo, set the engages, as Rakan made a cheeky little invade but from the Baron Pit behind enemy lines, getting behind the Shen in the top side and immediately diving him for an engage. Granted, they don't get much out of this. No wards, no deep vision, but all it does is set the mindset of a dive comp. Now known that TSM can come at you from any direction, the top side of the C9 map had to play safe, because at 10 minutes, TSM had gained the gold lead from first blood that just happened just past 10 minutes, as well as the massive 20 CS difference in that top side of the map, and that scaled throughout the game. As at 15 minutes into the game, C9 kind of threw away the little gold lead that they had built from the 2 kills they'd gotten from TSM playing way too aggressive. They gave over 3 kills to TSM by Leona overstepping and the rest of C9 trying to follow, and they just get hit by the first wombo combo of the game. And from there, it was just TSM rinse, repeat, diving any chance they could to create some sort of aggro play or some sort of aggression was just done by them, and it maneuvered C9 into making mistakes. As TSM were able to punish any sort of play, they failed dived 3-man mid onto Bjergsen, who just immediately popped his ultimate the last second he could to survive, and it's allowed him so much chances to carry the gold lead further and further into the game. As you fail dive Bjergsen mid, he will go push topside and get a turret. And to finally seal the deal here for TSM, the final play literally came round this tier 1 mid lane turret. And literally all it was one misplay that caused the TSM trigger to happen, to force them into a dive, to kill off the entire C9 members. And it was literally just Nisqy portaling forward to try and harass the TSM members who were literally just standing underneath C9's tier 1 turret without any Baron buff, without any sort of enhancements to them. They just stood there trying to force C9 into that mistake. And once Nisqy portals forward, when you have Broken Blade who's already in position ready to flank, and the Jarvan also there to flank, Set's just immediately gonna showstopper the Zoe as soon as she comes back from the portal forward, and then what? You're already down your mid laner in a fight, because chances are Zoe's gonna be very squishy. She's not surviving a full Set push, and yeah, that's where the entire wombo combo from TSM comes in. Granted, it wasn't as spectacular as the first one that hit 4 members, as the Cataclysm was obviously down because Jarvan died, but here's the big but. Set's still there to punish him with facebreakers and haymakers and a lot of damage. Rakan's still able to charm them all up and hit him with a W. And the surprising bit was, Rakan held onto that charm for so long, he didn't use it willy-nilly just as soon as the fight began. He saved it so when the engage came in from TSM, it was quick, sharp, and effective. And with that, TSM were able to secure a Baron. Push up topside, get inhib turrets up there and the inhib, as well as bot side, get the inhibitor down there. And from there, C9 had no places to hide, no places to turn around and try and punish this TSM, as they were given no opportunity, as TSM just were able to out-team fight the team that was able to team fight so well for all their wins this season. And it amazed me to actually see TSM pick up this win here in such a dominant fashion. Personally, I don't really think this game was won in the draft phase. Both teams had good team comps. Obviously, you want to be playing this sort of split pushing style if you're C9. You have the Lee Sin who's able to get between lanes, protect a Shen, and push that lane. You've also got an MF and Leona who can go into a lane, and Zoe who can technically split push. Obviously, it's not ideal for her, but she can technically still do it. Whereas TSM's team comp was a bit more clearer on how they wanted to play. You have a Set who's built for team fighting. You have a Jarvan built for team fighting. You have a Zilean who's built to sustain a team fight. You have a Xayah and Rakan built for team fighting. It's fairly obvious TSM wanted to make this a scrappy game and fight any chance possible. And we saw that come at any opportunity. If a C9 member decided to engage onto TSM, TSM fought back harder and stronger, and they didn't know when to give up in this game. And this sort of decisiveness that was played by TSM, there was literally no cocking, aiming down a gun. It was literally just pick up gun, fire. And that's how this game was played. It was so quick, so effective as well. TSM are known for being this team fighting org that go late game, and once they get to late game, they use their superior skill to just out team fight you and win. Well, let's just say they skipped the long 30-minute wait and instead just decided to kill everyone off in about 20 minutes. And this sort of team fighting is what we like to see out of TSM, and it was even greater when they took it over into the FlyQuest game the following day, as it was so strong, this team comp, that FlyQuest kind of feared TSM in that matchup, and it was so good to see this sort of form out of TSM after their struggling 3 or so seasons in the LCS. But that's going to be it for this episode of Anarchy Analysis. I know this is quite a short one. I've made it quite short because I've kept everything short and sweet, and it's not a teamfight breakdown where I'm breaking down ittle bitty, teeny weeny, tiny whiny Mare Rai Dominaka pieces of teamfights that are so integral to how they're played. It's more so just this broad understanding of a game and breaking it down piece by piece, which is so much better and easier to make content for. But that's going to be it. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a like down below, subscribe from near to here if you want to, and I will see you guys later for another Anarchy Analysis. I should also point out now that the weekly predictions will not be up this week, as, well, there isn't any league to do it on. Sadly, the LCS and LEC are obviously postponed indefinitely, so we don't know when we can obviously continue our predictions. That being said, I'm intrigued to see how the season's obviously resolved with these sort of things put into effect. But yeah, if you enjoyed this episode, leave a like down below, subscribe for now if you want to, and I will see you guys later. Peace out.